Jimmy Carter. James Earl Carter Jr., born October 1, 1924, is an American politician and humanitarian who served as the 39th President of the United States from 1977 to 1981. A member of the Democratic Party, he was the 76th Governor of Georgia from 1971 to 1975 and a Georgia State Senator from 1963 to 1967. Carter is the longest-lived president in U.S. history and the first to live to 100 years of age. 39th President of the United States in office. January 20, 1977. January 20, 1981. Vice President Walter MondalePreceded, byGerald, FordSucceeded, byRonald Reagan. 76th Governor of Georgia in office. January 12, 1971. January 14, 1975. Lieutenant Lester MaddoxPreceded, byLester, MaddoxSucceeded, byGeorge, BusbeeMember of the Georgia State Senate. From the 14th District in office. January 14, 1963. January 9, 1967. Preceded byConstituency, establishedSucceeded, byHugh, CarterPersonal, detailsBorn. James Earl Carter Jr. October 1, 1924. Age 100. Plains, Georgia. U.S. political party Democratic spouse. Rosalind Smith. M. 1946. Died 2023. Children 4, including Jack and Amy. Parents: James Earl Carter Sr., Bessie Lillian Gordy. Relatives: Carter Family Education, United States Naval Academy, B.S., Civilian Awards. Full list. Carter was born and raised in Plains, Georgia. He graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1946 and joined the U.S. Navy's submarine service. Carter returned home after his military service and revived his family's peanut-growing business. Opposing racial segregation, Carter supported the growing civil rights movement and became an activist within the Democratic Party. He served in the Georgia State Senate from 1963 to 1967 and then as Governor of Georgia from 1971 to 1975. As a dark horse candidate not well known outside Georgia, Carter won the Democratic nomination and narrowly defeated the incumbent Republican Party president, Gerald Ford, in the 1976 presidential election. Carter pardoned all Vietnam War draft evaders on his second day in office. He created a national energy policy that included conservation, price control, and new technology. Carter successfully pursued the Camp David Accords, the Panama Canal Treaties, and the second round of strategic arms limitation talks. He also confronted stagflation. His administration established the U.S. Department of Energy and the Department of Education. The end of his presidency was marked by the Iran hostage crisis, an energy crisis, the 3 Mile Island accident, the Nicaraguan Revolution, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. In response to the invasion, Carter escalated the Cold War by ending détente, imposing a grain embargo against the Soviets, enunciating the Carter Doctrine, and leading the multinational boycott of the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow. He lost the 1980 presidential election in a landslide to Ronald Reagan, the Republican nominee. After leaving the presidency, Carter established the Carter Center to promote and expand human rights. In 2002, he received a Nobel Peace Prize for related work. He traveled extensively to conduct peace negotiations, monitor elections, and further the eradication of infectious diseases. Carter is a key figure in the nonprofit housing organization Habitat for Humanity. He has also written numerous books, ranging from political memoirs to poetry, while continuing to comment on global affairs, including 2 books on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Polls of historians and political scientists generally rank Carter as a below-average president, though scholars and the public more favorably view his post-presidency, which is the longest in U.S. history. Carter was inaugurated as the 39th president on January 20, 1977. One of Carter's first acts was the fulfillment of a campaign promise by issuing an executive order declaring unconditional amnesty for Vietnam War-era draft evaders, Proclamation 4483, 141. 142. Carter's tenure in office was marked by an economic malaise, a time of continuing inflation and recession, and a 1979 energy crisis. Under Carter, the U.S. experienced its first ever government shutdown in May 1980, though it affected only the Federal Trade Commission. In 1980, Carter signed Law H.R. 5860 aka Public Law 96-185, known as the Chrysler Corporation Loan Guarantee Act of 1979, to bail out the Chrysler Corporation with $3.5 billion, equivalent to $12.94 billion in 2023, in aid. Carter attempted to calm various conflicts around the world, most visibly in the Middle East with the signing of the Camp David Accords, giving back the Panama Canal to Panama, and signing the SALT II nuclear arms reduction treaty with Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev. His final year was marred by the Iran hostage crisis, which contributed to his losing the 1980 election to Ronald Reagan. 146 whistleblowers have alleged, most recently in 2023, that people working on the Reagan campaign's behalf convinced Iran to prolong the crisis to reduce Carter's chance of re-election.